everyone. How's everyone doing today? Great? Okay. So, Guru's already given a great, expansive introduction about the Accessibility Lab, but we're essentially, we look at ourselves as service providers for all things accessibility. We do a lot of accessibility work, consulting, training in software. We also do hardware, but that's not something we're really known about. And the reason why we love open source tools and we love working on improving accessibility health for open source tools are because they need to be more open in terms of the users that they cater to. Open source tools are free, they're easily available, and open source tool teams are usually very small. Many a times they're also underfunded. So our idea is to ensure that these free tools can also reach people who have different disabilities to practice their social life, economic life, political life, or even give them dignity and long-term livelihood. So yeah, we would jump right in. I know we're very short on time. We'd like to have the audience also ask us questions. We're going to do some and discover and talk a little bit about some of the top accessibility errors that we've seen in our line of work of working with open source tools. A lot of the open source tools that we work for are more on the privacy enhancing technology side that looks at enhancing security, privacy, especially for those users that have been historically marginalized or are under some form of digital attack. And now I will pass on the mic to my colleague, Nancy. Nancy, go ahead.
Thank you. Well, yes, first, as a little bit of intro, I was Googling about open source and accessibility, and I found this small accessibility statement that says, as open source software grows in use, developers have the responsibility of making their software accessible to all potential users, including people with disabilities. But I would like to complement about, okay, how can we become accessible? First, we comply with the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, which the current version is 2.2. And for those who don't know, the guidelines are structured in 4 principles and 3 levels of accessibility. It's level A, level AA, and level AAA. Level A is like the most basic accessibility. All organizations that want to become accessible can first start with level A. Level AA is currently requesting in a governmental level, and level AAA is like the most accessibility level, the highest accessibility level that you can have. There's no such thing as an average user. We need to make digital environments accessible. Because this will impact the quality of life of users with disabilities, friends and family, and also it will increase the quality of our product. The first thing we do when we test, it's to turn on the screen reader. If it's Android, we turn on TalkBack. If it's Windows, we turn off NVDA, which is also an open source screen reader that works really well. If it's Mac or an iPhone or a Mac computer, you already have installed on your computer VoiceOver. You just go to Settings, Accessibility, and activate it. And you start navigating with keyboard. Tab, tab, tab. And you, without being experts, you will find a lot of mistakes because a lot of elements on a website are not keyboard accessible. And in the case of a mobile device, well, we just turn that off, and one tab becomes double tap when we test. So if we want to enter an app or activate a button, we just double tap. And here starts our mistakes. Our examples of common mistakes. The most basic mistake is alternative descriptions. This is an app for the Tech of Peace. They requested an accessibility audit. They are really interested in improving. And we found, for example, here, the button says unlabeled button. And it's like in all buttons. And in this case, also they have images here and images here. And the description is the URL. So if they have a lot of images or a lot of buttons, they will just hear a lot of information that won't help. this other example, it's about Social TIC. They are a Mexican organization that do great job in digital security. And they have done a lot of research. They have a lot of articles, and they have so much information that they need to have filters to, find the things that you need to find. And this accordion that expand and collapse, and these checkboxes don't receive focus. So if you navigate with tab, they will just go tab, tab in the menu, tab, 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 and then tab, 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 tab. So you cannot use the accordions, you cannot use the filters. A common behavior will be filter by pipeline, the receive focus, collapse. And then you click enter, and then it will say expanded. And then you navigate inside the checkboxes, and it's supposed to describe the label. Another common fail in websites is heading structures, because developers use normally the levels of the headings for design, or sometimes I even see links that have a heading in the HTML, which doesn't make any sense, but they do it a lot. So this is an example also of a huge organizations that fight for digital rights. And if you go to the blog and get the heading list, the heading structure, you will find that it's good here because they have a level 1 blog, but then you will find missing heading, missing heading, missing heading, and then you have another heading. So your heading structure will be, it should be accordingly to the importance of your information, being level number 1, the most important title, and the subtitle heading level 2. How can we test that? Well, we have the developer tool plugin on several browsers, and we just go to information and view document line, and we can check really quickly the heading structure of a website. And this is the Circulo app. We actually have some attendance from the Guardian project. This is an app that, it's for digital security. Like, you can create a circle of persons that you trust to send emergency messages. I don't know, they will probably explain it better. But this is the first version that they had, and this is the second version. Well, after we offer some recommendations, here is just a button without description. So the screen reader also announced it on label, and then they fixed it and added to the small shape arrow, they added a description. So now the element is bigger, it receives focus, and it announces back or profile, which is a really easy fix, and it really makes the difference. And this is another tool to send encrypted messages in the open source community. This is called Hushline. They have it on Windows, Mac, Android, iOS, Ubuntu. And for example, first, they didn't have a relationship, they didn't have a label. And if you have a form, you're supposed to have a label with an input related in the code, so the screen reader can announce what is about the text area or the label. And they also had a generic link here, learn more. So if you are a screen reader user and you get a list of links, you will only read learn more. If you have a lot of links, that will be really confusing. So the good thing here is that if they can fix just one label and just one descriptions, this will impact in all the versions that they have in different operative systems. Also, a really common mistake is color contrast. We have different validators that are free and available for everyone. You can, for example, here you can see the screenshot. This color contrast is okay, but this one, it's really low. So if you test it, you can actually click on here and select the color in the screen, any color that you want, and you will get the result if it's passing or failing in AA level of accessibility or AAA. larger text or regular text. So it's really easy to understand which colors are better, even if you don't have like the really common sense to choose a good color contrast. And this is another automatic tool that I love. This is a website, it's online. You can actually play with the colors and you will get the result of it's accessible or not, and also inputs, because now also we need to be aware of elements on the screen that they are not exactly text, but they are elements that are important on the screen. Another example is that people need instructions at the right time. A lot of open source, especially tools that are related to privacy and security, they developers assume that they understand security, that the user, it's like a security expert or something. So sometimes they don't offer instructions at the right time. You need to go to the documentation to understand. But there are a lot of users that may think that the tool is not working. So this is a good example. They actually improve on this. So they offer in text with good color contrast, the recommendation about how to send encrypted text, how to receive encrypted text, and you will get more information when you actually want to send or receive the message. This is about target size. It's really another common fail on almost all applications or mobile versions of a website when we do testing. All your social media icons or your links are really small. So we require, according to the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, we require to have at least 44 minimum size, so the user doesn't make the mistake when they are clicking on a mobile or in any other app. So this is like too small. This is actually 31 plus 32. This is an app that it's called Screen Accessibility Scanner. It's in Android, so you can download it and you just open any app and activate the scan, and you will find a lot of automatic errors like target size, color contrast, so it will be really easy to understand where you are failing. And also, like, sometimes you can make several mistakes in the same element. For example, in this case, if the target size is not complying enough and it doesn't have a label. So developers are assuming that everyone is understanding what is a hamburger menu, but we need to be aware that not everyone knows, especially users that they don't have like a literally, alfabetización digital. Yeah, digital literacy. Great, thank you. Okay, this is another example of links that are not descriptive enough. So we have read more, read more, read more, read more, and these can be worse. Like, imagine that you are blind and you are a screen reader user, and it's already hard to listen to a screen reader because it's a voice like it's like robotic voice. Plus, if you're navigating with a really bad structure and without descriptions, it will be awful. Also, digital documents, PDF, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, any digital document also needs to be accessible. So if you have a website, a tool, and you are offering information in a PDF, you need to make sure that you have alternative descriptions in your image, that you have a title, that you have a good heading structure, and that your text are accessible, because if your PDF is blocked, the screen reader is not going to be able to access that information. It will be just like a big image. And when we are talking about multimedia content, this is an organization that it's from Latin America. They are Vita Activa, and they have an event that is called Vita Fest, and they wanted to be inclusive, so they hire sign language interpretation. So if you have video, the requirement will be that you have closed captions for people that is deaf or hard of hearing, and that you have sign language interpreter, because a lot of people that is deaf don't know how to read. So it's really important, sign language. It's a level AAA success criteria, but it's really important to implement. And also transcript. If you have video, if you have like a podcast, an audio, you will need to have a transcript, because transcript is this text is the only thing that you can convert to audio and braille. So if you are deaf and blind at the same time, you will need to have braille and you will need to have text. And I'm gonna pass the mic to Raashi.
Thanks, Nancy. No, so accessibility it's a journey. I think we always say that. It takes days, weeks, months, or several years, but it does happen. For example, so many things get updated. You have so many different aspects, even in terms of technology. So it's very necessary for us to be able to also look at this as something it's not one-off. It's a process that keeps. Can you hear me now? Okay, great. It's a process that keeps on going. So we had SecureDrop that reached out to us in 2012 for doing an audit, and I think sometime when they had updates, which we did a redesign of their source interface. And when they had another update back in 2023, we've done several other audits that also look at aspects that we can have solutions for. We have the Tela app, and in the Tela app, I think you can see something called accessibility. So this is something called an accessibility statement, which we open up, which also talks about what accessibility is based on Tela and what are the different communities that it caters to. Nancy kept talking about web content accessibility guidelines. So the web content accessibility guidelines is more like technical guidelines by the Web3 interface, if you all have heard of it. And they kind of cater to different forms of accessibility, visual, motor, and many others. So the statement basically provides a holistic view of how the application is catering to accessibility. Now, Tela is again another application that's used by a lot of human rights defenders to document digital right harms across the world. They have desktop versions, they have iOS and Android. And when we did an accessibility audit for them, they included an accessibility statement, which is, again, one of the requirements of the 3 levels that you have under WCAG. So this is an example of an accessibility statement. Has anyone used Big Blue Button? Okay, amazing. So Big Blue Button is an alternative to Zoom, but it's more secure and safe. And even in terms of, it also takes lesser bandwidth. So it works very well in regions where the quality of service is low. So we kind of help them build this accessibility statement where it talks about the web accessibility guidelines and how it ensures it has a success criteria. Now 2.2 came out back in October, so it's not updated, of course, but it spoke about the guidelines and what they've basically done. And they've also added an accessibility FAQ to how to experience the website. And it also talks about the limitations. So this is what an accessibility statement would look like.
Yeah, also about this, it's important that you as an organization are making an effort in becoming accessible. You need to tell the world about it. You don't need to be 100% accessible to put your accessibility statement. You can, start this learning curve and say, hey, we care about users with disabilities and other users because everyone benefits with accessibility. And we are doing this, improving. We are in the process. But yeah, and when you are already, you can even add the logo of the W3C level of accessibility. They have the 3 logos of the 3 levels. So it's really important also that you, share this information with the world. And I think it will be like, developers and designers will feel really good about it because it's really something important to do.
Thanks, Nancy. But also from a legal perspective, especially if you are in North America A lot of the legal demands have also been where there have been lawsuits in millions and millions by very, very prestigious companies. Like if you all have heard of Target, all the universities, I'm sure all of you use Netflix. All of them have been fined for not providing the basic aspects of subtitles, or they've been fined for users for not being able to do essential functions like using e-commerce websites, or even buying a plane ticket. So there's also legal mandates, especially if you all have contributors from the US or otherwise. But yes, we don't have much time, but I also wanted to say thank you. But before I say thank you, we also wanted to talk a little bit about what we provide and how we can help. So we have a pro bono mandate with one of our funders called Open Technology Fund. They fund a lot of open source technology to advance privacy and security, especially of those who have been historically marginalized. And if your tool falls within their remit, where it works on open source, it works on preserving privacy and security, and works on curtailing censorship and surveillance, we can provide our services, whether it's coaching or training or audits or even implementation pro bono. But then we also work a lot outside open source. And yeah, we look forward to collaborating more. These are our details. I'm happy to have a chat. Where some of us are also going to be at the social event in the evening and tomorrow, so you can find us there. But thank you so much for listening. I also have some Indian sweets, so if anyone wants a few, thank you so much. We're so happy to see such a lovely room.